And a very good Monday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again, the Oh the Pain podcast. It's Monday. It is December 30th, New Year's Eve, 2024. The Joe Benigno the Pain podcast brought to you by the Hackensack Brewing Company, by Anita Discount Tire, and of course, our good friends at Manscaped. Well, Jet fans, we have now officially hit rock bottom. We cannot get any lower than we are now. I am here now to say that the New York Jets now assume the mantle of the worst franchise in professional sports. I think we have now got to that point, and I don't even think it's close. You could give me the Cleveland Browns. You could give me, whoever you want to give me. We are the worst franchise in professional sports now. We have hit rock bottom. We have the worst owner in professional sports. It's funny. For 20 years, the New York Knicks had that, wonderful distinction. And Jim Dolan had the distinction of the worst owner in professional sports. That torch has now been handed to Woody Johnson and the Jets. What a disgrace that was yesterday on every freaking level. An embarrassment. As I sat there and just watched the Buffalo Bills just mop the floor with us. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And I'm sick and tired now of everything that's gone down here. I'm sick and tired of every freaking inch of it. 56 years without a Super Bowl appearance, 14 years without a playoff appearance, longest in professional sports in North America. 9 years without a winning season, 5 consecutive years with 10 or more losses. It's unbelievable. And how does it change? It could only change one way. As far as I'm concerned, it's only changing one way. Woody Johnson's not selling the team anytime soon, at least the way I see it. It can only change one way, and the only way it's going to change is by bringing in the right management team in here. Getting the right head coach, GM combination to change everything here with this franchise. I mean, there's no other way to say it. You talk about a culture change. No, this franchise needs a karma change. I mean, it's unbelievable. Aaron Rodgers came here and he didn't realize how bad, how difficult it is to change the karma here with this New York Jet franchise. He comes here his first year, he gets hurt 4 plays into it, doesn't play the rest of the year. And in this year, even though he's played every game, has been a disaster. And yesterday was probably the worst game he had all year. He was absolutely terrible. There's no other way to say it. Threw a couple picks, got sacked constantly, missed a wide open Kenny Yeboah on the first drive of the game that should have been a touchdown. He hit him in the feet. I mean, there's really nothing else to say here. The penalties continue to mount, penalty after penalty. What do we have, 13 penalties in this game yesterday? I don't know what the number was. The defense stinks. I mean, we don't have a head coach in Ulbrich. It's funny, Tony Romo, I couldn't believe, first of all, Nance and Romo did this game yesterday. I guess it's because of Josh Allen and the Bills. But Tony Romo actually said that, we're going to look at Jeff Ulbrich. No, we're not. Jeff Ulbrich is gone. A week from today, Black Monday, you will see this entire coaching staff be let go. I mean, if not, then, then really Woody Johnson is lost in the ozone. This entire coaching staff gets canned a week from today. I am so sick and tired of it. I can't take it anymore, man. I can't. I mean, I'm watching this yesterday, and I know that the season's been over for a long time. But you can certainly make the case that this is the worst season we've ever had. This is the worst stretch of Jet, and this is saying a lot. This is the worst stretch of Jet football we've ever seen. Worse than the 12-year playoff drought between 1969 and 1981. Worse than the, complete brutal, as we just went through, a complete brutal decade of the 70s when they didn't have a winning season. Worse than the 2 Richie Kotite years, when they went 4-28. I mean, this is it. This is the worst it's ever been. 14 years without the playoffs. 5 straight 10-plus lost seasons. This is a disgrace. You talk about a culture change. We need a karma change. Woody Johnson has got to get this head coach right. I mean, there is no other way to say it, And you know what? And you got to bring in a guy who has coached had been a head coach in the NFL before. There's no other way to say it. And now, I had Brian Costello on my Saturday show on The Fan, and we went at it with that article he had, basically wanting to get Rodgers out of town and all of this. And how about this latest report from, I guess it's from Ian Rappaport, saying that Garrett Wilson, doesn't want to come back if Aaron Rodgers is here next year. Is that really true? Is that the deal? I mean, Garrett Wilson, and obviously I want Garrett Wilson's the one guy. I could say, from Breece Hall to Sauce Gardner to Quinnen Williams, right on down the line, that, how many overrated guys do we have on this football team? Because there's a lot of them. And the one guy that isn't is Garrett Wilson. I mean, he's on his way to 100 catch season. He's already over 1,000 yards. He's got 7 touchdowns. He caught a TD yesterday, even though it was completely meaningless, from Tyrod Taylor and extended, as Marv Albert would once say, garbage time. But, I mean, this is, something's got to be done. The right head coach has got to come in here and change everything. This team is so undisciplined, penalty after penalty after penalty. They killed them yesterday on that first drive. Holding penalties. I mean, you just can't make it up. The inability to get a yard on 4th and 1, whether it's Breece Hall or whether it's Jalen Allen or whoever the hell it is. Braylon Allen. It doesn't matter. Jimmy Brown could be in the backfield on 4th and 1 and he wouldn't get the first down if he played for the Jets. I'm sick of it. Rodgers sucked yesterday. He sucked. I mean, there's no sugarcoating, and he sucked. But I still want him back as the quarterback. Do I buy this stuff about Garrett Wilson? I don't know what to believe. What I believe is, if you get the right head coach in here, right, that's going to demand accountability for the players on his team, because that has not been the case. It wasn't the case under Saleh. It is certainly not the case under Jeff Ulbrich, who is so far over his freaking head. I mean, it's beyond how bad he is. Beyond. Accountability. It has to happen here. I mean, the discipline, the constant penalties. The Jets lead the NFL in defensive penalties and penalty yardage. And yesterday, it was the same old, same old. And I'm tired of watching guys like Sauce Gardner, who I think is the most overrated player in the NFL. I mean, you tell me who's more overrated than him. I'm sick and tired. And he doesn't even play the second half yesterday. He takes himself out of the game, and we didn't see him again. And then he's in the locker room after the game complaining. What are you complaining about? How about getting your ass out on the field? I'm tired of it. I really am. I mean, there's no other way to do it. You're a Jet fan today. Where are we? We're nowhere. We're nowhere. And I want Rodgers back. I don't even care at this point. I don't care what happens. All I care about right now is we have to get this management team right. There can be no miss here. This is a must hit by Woody Johnson. Otherwise, we're in the abyss like we've always been. And I've said this repeatedly, and I will continue to say it. We cannot have a first-time coordinator as head coach here. That can't be happening. Whoever is the next head coach has to have had head coaching experience in this league. And I love Rex. I love Brian Flores. Now, they're going to have to interview a minority candidate. The guy they got with the Rooney Rule, the guy they have to interview is Flores. And I wouldn't even let him out of the building. I tell you, the more I think about it, the more I want this guy to be the head coach. He had 2 winning seasons in Miami. I don't know what happened after that. Okay, I don't know what the deal was after that. He had issues with Tua, whatever it is. I don't think he wanted to draft him, whatever the case may be. 2 winning seasons in Miami, and he got very unceremoniously dumped. He sued the league. Now he's the defensive coordinator in Minnesota, who, oh, by the way, is 14-2 right now. And if they beat the Lions next week, they will be the number 1 seed in the NFC. How about that? With Sam Darnold at quarterback. Seems like Flores has been done a pretty goddamn good job as a defensive coordinator. To me, he's a mini Mike Tomlin. He's a guy that's going to kick your ass, and he's going to hold you accountable. And as I said, that's something we haven't seen from this franchise in, when's the last time? When Rex was here in the early days? I mean, When? I seriously can't take it anymore. We are really the worst franchise in professional sports right now. I don't even think it's close. And Woody Johnson's the worst owner, and I don't even think it's close. We have got to get this head coach right. Whether it's Flores, whether it's Rex, whether it's Mike Vrabel, right? Any one of those guys, John Gruden. Now, like I said, I mentioned I had Costello on. He brought up the name Matt Nagy. Now, Nagy was the coach of the Chicago Bears, did take him to the playoffs a couple times. He's now in Kansas City. He's one of the coordinators. I guess he's the offensive coordinator there. Is that what he is? I mean, to me, Andy Reid is. Actually, the offensive coordinator is probably Patrick Mahomes, but nevertheless. He's there, with the best franchise in football. I'm not crazy about him. But, I mean, I don't know. Right now, the guy I want is Brian Flores. We need a disciplinarian in here that's going to kick ass and take names. And to me, he's a mini Mike Tomlin. So I'm at the point now where I don't even care anymore. I don't care if Rodgers is back. I don't care if Wilson is back. I don't care if Breece Hall is back. I don't care if Devontae Adams is back. I don't care if Sauce Gardner is back. I don't care if Quinnen Williams is back. I don't give a damn who's back now. All I care about is getting this franchise straightened out. And the only way it's going to happen is by getting the right management, GM, coach combo in here. To me, it's really the coach. And if you get the right coach in here, you'll find a way with the GM. And I'm not worried about, where we finish in the draft. We're sitting 7th right now, and it really doesn't matter. They're not getting the first pick. It doesn't really matter. You got to pick the right guy. It's not where you pick, it's who you pick. That's really what it comes down to. And if I'm Woody Johnson, I'm not wasting time. Now, I guess starting January 8th, I believe it is, through the divisional round, you can interview guys whose teams are still in the playoffs remotely, or I guess by Zoom, right? I think that's how you can play it. Now, you cannot interview anybody in person until their team is finished playing. That's the way I understand it. So you could, because Minnesota's obviously making the playoffs, you could interview Flores, remotely starting in, after January 8th or starting on January 8th. And that's the first guy. If you have to fulfill this Rooney rule anyway, which I think is a, very flawed rule, but that doesn't matter. This is the guy you interview first. And I'm telling you right now, man, the more I think about it, the more this is the guy I want. Brian Flores. He's from Brooklyn. He's a tough guy. He's a defensive guy. He's going to kick your ass. There's going to be accountability on this team if he's the head coach. And like I said, I am at the point now where I don't give a damn who's coming back anymore. All right? It's all about who is going to run this franchise. Woody Johnson cannot get this wrong. He can't. Because if he does, we're just going to be in the abyss again. If he brings the wrong guy in here, if they go after another first-time coordinator, even if it's Aaron Glenn, as good a jet as he might have been, I don't want him. He's a first-time coordinator. And he'll be gone in 3 years, like they all are. 3 years and out. Like it was for Bowles. He's doing pretty good in Tampa. How about Baker Mayfield? And I said this way back when. This is the guy they should have signed when he was out there, Mayfield. He's tough as nails, and he's on his way to leading the Tampa Bay Bucks. They're a win away from winning the NFC South, which isn't exactly a powerhouse division, but they're a win away from that. Unbelievable. What did he throw, 5 touchdowns? I don't know what the number was. He had a pretty big day yesterday. I think he threw 5 touchdowns in their win over the crummy Carolina Panthers. But it's unbelievable. Bowles, Gaze, Salah, it's a disaster. You cannot bring a first-time coordinator in here. You have to bring in a coach that has had experience as a head coach already. Matt Nagy would be my final choice, but he'd still be better than any first-time coordinator. But Woody Johnson can't get this wrong. Now I've heard rumors that Rex Ryan actually has interviewed already. Now, I don't know if that's true, Now, I'm going to be later on my good buddy Jake Asman's show, and I think he's doing radio on ESPN right now. He's filling in the morning, and actually texted me that he will be interviewing Rex Ryan today. So we'll talk to Jake about what Rex had to say. Whether he had an interview already or not, I don't know. You know I'm down with Rex. Bring him in. There'll be accountability. They'll play defense. They'll go after the quarterback. There's no doubt about that. And then you got to bring the right assistant coaches in here as well. I mean, that's, it's not just the head coach. It's who you're surrounding him with as far as, offensive, defensive coordinator and all of that. So that's where I'm at right now. I am an extremely beat down and ticked off Jet fan who wishes he never became a fan of this team, who wishes that he knew nothing about sports, right? I would have been better off doing that, and I wouldn't have the aggravation level that I have now as I sit and watch these games Sunday after Sunday and watch them, shit the bed again. Now, I will say one thing. I was actually happy that the Miami Dolphins won yesterday and beat Cleveland, because now the Jets play Miami Sunday at home in a game that means everything to the Dolphins. And if nothing else in this year, wouldn't you like to see this team wake up from their slumber and knock the goddamn Dolphins out of the playoffs? Now, the scenario for Miami is they have to win and Denver has to lose. Denver plays Kansas City in Denver. I don't think anybody's playing for the Chiefs, who have already locked up everything there is to lock up. I guess Carson Wentz will be the starting quarterback this week for Kansas City. But how much? I mean, that would be good. The game is at 4:25, by the way. Did you see that? They moved that game to 4:25, and I guess it's on Fox. And it's actually the same time as the Denver-Kansas City game, which I thought was a little surprising. But, whatever. I guess because they want both games to mean something. So if the Miami game was at 1 o'clock and the Jets beat them, now Cincinnati's still in play too. The Bengals actually play Saturday. They play the Steelers on Saturday. Cincinnati needs to win their game and then needs both Miami and Denver to lose, and then they will get in as the final seed in the wild card in the AFC playoffs. Everything else is pretty much done now. I guess the AFC North is not done yet. Baltimore right now at 11-5 leads Pittsburgh, who's lost 3 in a row at 10-6. I guess if Baltimore, who is not going to lose to the Cleveland Browns, they're going to win the division, let's be honest. But if they lost to Cleveland and Pittsburgh beat Cincinnati, then I think Pittsburgh wins the division. But they're both locked into the playoffs anyway. It really doesn't matter. Buffalo's locked into the 2 seed. Houston, in that crummy AFC South, is locked in to the 4 seed as the Colts lost to the Giants. How about the Giants winning yesterday and dropping from the number 1 pick in the draft to the 4th pick in the draft, which takes them out of the running for the 2 top quarterbacks, Shadir Sanders and Cam Ward. And by the way, give these guys credit, because both of them could have not played in their bowl games over the weekend, and both of them played. Cam Ward only played a half for Miami, but at least he played a half. Shadir Sanders played the entire game, apparently, as did Travis Hunter for Colorado. So give those guys credit. With all these guys that back out of these bowl games now because because they transfer or they're worried about their draft status and, getting hurt, give these 2 guys who are probably going to be the top 2 picks in the draft, give them credit for actually playing in their bowl games. I give them a lot of credit. But right now, we'll see what happens. The Giants are 4. There's still a week to go, so who knows? The Giants are playing Philly. Now, Philly's already clinched the NFC East. They blew out Dallas yesterday. But, you got to believe Saquon Barkley's going to play, because Saquon Barkley's only 101 yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson's all-time record for rushing yardage in a season at 2,105. He did go over 2,000 yesterday. I believe he became the 8th running back in history to go over 2,000 yards for a season. I think that's the number. So you would think that Nick Sirianni and company are going to want to get Saquon that record. I don't know. Maybe not. And how sweet would it be for Saquon to get it against the Giants? So we'll see. Right now, the New England Patriots have the number 1 pick in the draft. And they don't need a quarterback because they got their young guy in Drake May. But maybe they'll trade out. Maybe they'll take Travis Hunter. Maybe they will. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. But the Giants are sitting at 4. The Jets are sitting at 7. Really, as I said, to me with the Jets, it doesn't matter where they pick. It's who they pick. But the most important pick for the New York Jets is going to be who is the head coach going forward. Woody Johnson cannot miss this time. There's really no other way to say it. Woody Johnson cannot miss this time. So, it is what it is. I'm just, like I said, I'm just beside myself, and I don't even care anymore. I've been a big proponent of bringing Rodgers back, and I still want him back. But at this point in time, I don't really give a damn. All I want to do is win, and things need to change. And they need to change starting next year. I can't take another rebuilding, losing season. Can we take another crappy year next year? Can we? No. Woody Johnson's got to get this right. I'm sorry. Got to get it right. And it would be nice if the football team, as it is this week, would show up and maybe stick it up the ass of the Miami Dolphins, whether Tua plays or not. Now, he didn't play in the game yesterday against Cleveland. Tyler Huntley played, and it really didn't matter. He played okay, but they won 20-3. Look, the Browns stink. I mean, and they're playing this guy with three names at quarterback, whatever his name. I don't even know. Thompson is his last name. He stinks too. So, does it really matter? Anyway. All right, Benigno, the Oda Pain podcast. Don't have a lot to say here anymore. I really don't. I really don't. Not about the Jets. I've said everything I can say. Now, let's get the sponsors in here. You know where I stand now, Jet fans. You know where I'm at. All right, the Hackensack Brewing Company, located 10 minutes off the George Washington Bridge, less than 30 seconds off Route 4 in Hackensack. There's always 12 beers on tap. You can go into the beer garden. You can go outside as well. Tap room's open 4:30 to 10 Monday through Friday, 2 to 10 Saturday, 12 to 8 Sunday, 78 Johnson Avenue in Who Needs a House out in Hackensack. So check it out. Don't know when the next live podcast will be. It might not be till we play baseball again. I don't know. But we will let you know whenever that is. Go see Mike Jones. Go see TJ. They'll take care of you. The Hackensack Brewing Company. You need work done on your car? You know where to go. Go see my son Johnny. Go see Ari at Anita Discount Tire in Rivervale, New Jersey on Westwood Avenue. Whatever your automotive needs are. Need tires. You need work done on your car. You need your car inspected. They'll get it done for you. And we thank them for all the support over all the years as well. And then, of course, the people at Manscaped still got the Beard and Balls bundle out there. Check it out. The 5.0 lawnmower, the beard hedger, the lawnmower for the bottom, the beard hedger for the top. I've been telling you about the lawnmower for a while. Gives you that illusion of extra inches, which we all, even if we really don't have those extra inches, boy, if it looks that way, we'll take it. That's every one of us, men. Join the 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped for all their grooming needs and get the Beard and Balls bundle today. Don't forget, you got the Manscaped underwear, which I love. Keep your balls in place. They got the T-shirts as well. Don't forget about the Manscaped shampoo and conditioner, which I'm still waiting to get some from Manscaped, but I love them anyway. Does a great job. Wash your hair, wash your body with it. Used it until I used it all up. Keep on using me until you use me up. Little Bill Withers there. But anyway, Manscaped, 20% off free shipping with the code ODAPAIN at manscaped.com for the premium grooming experience. Trust Manscaped. All right, Benigno, the Oda Pain podcast. As I said, it's New Year's Eve. A lot of good football this week at the Monday night game tonight. Big game for the Lions because, I guess it really doesn't matter for the Lions. Even if they lose to San Francisco tonight, which they probably won't, Detroit can still win the division and the number one seed next week if they beat Minnesota. So it really doesn't matter either way this game tonight. I think they'll blow out the Niners, give them a little payback for losing the NFC Championship game last year. Wouldn't surprise me if they put a 50-burger on them. And that game is going to be the Sunday night game next week, of course, with the NFC North and number one seed in the NFC on the line. That'll be the Sunday night game next week. The Vikings in Detroit to play the Lions. I mentioned that the Jet-Dolphin games at 4:25, and I gave you the scenario there. The Bengals and the Dolphins and the Broncos all fighting for that last playoff spot. Cincinnati needs to beat the Steelers on Saturday and then have Miami and Denver lose, and they'll make the playoffs. By the way, what a great game that was between the Bengals and the Broncos on Saturday. One of the best games of the year with the Bengals winning that game in overtime. Great shootout between Bo Nix and Joe Burrow in that game. Really tremendous. So again, the Bengals need to win their game on Saturday against Pittsburgh and then have both Miami and Denver lose. Miami needs to win their game against the Jets and just Denver lose, and they're in. So how sweet would it be? And again, that's a 425 game. I believe it's on Fox. How sweet would it be if the Jets stuck it up Miami's ass and knocked them out of the playoffs? At least it would give me something to have a smile on my face going into the offseason. But don't count on that happening either. Again, I don't know if Tua is playing or not. So, I don't know what else to say, but a lot of football this weekend. You got all, obviously, tomorrow night, we'll be back with the college football playoffs. You got the Fiesta Bowl tomorrow night out in Phoenix with Penn State and Boise State. Really looking forward to that game. Look at this guy, Genti, the running back, who looks like the real deal. I mean, he looks like this guy's pretty good. You wonder at 7 if he's sitting there. I'll tell you right now, if for the New York Jets, sitting there right now with the 7th pick, as much as they need defense, which they do, I would say if either Travis Hunter, which I don't think he will be, or this kid Genti is sitting there at 7, I might have to take him. Sometimes you got to forget about what the need is, and you got to take the best player out there. And I know he's a running back, but this guy Genti looks like he's going to be one of those guys, coming into the league. So we'll see how that all plays out. But nevertheless, however it plays out. But a lot of football. And then, of course, New Year's Day, you got the Texas-Arizona State game. That game is what? That game's in the Peach Bowl, I believe, in Atlanta. You got the Oregon-Ohio State game, a rematch of that game earlier in the year when Oregon beat Ohio State by a point out in Oregon. That's in the Rose Bowl. And it's like an old-time Rose Bowl with the Pac-12 against the Big Ten, even though both Oregon and Ohio State are in the Big Ten now. And then the game that is going to probably not start till after 9 o'clock on New Year's night, and that is the Sugar Bowl, and probably the best matchup between Georgia and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So, we'll see. So that's coming up. You got all those other meaningless bowl games going on as well. You got a game today between Missouri and Iowa, if that excites you. I believe it's the Music City Bowl. And then, of course, tonight you got the Lion Niner game, which really, as I said, is meaningless because it's all going to come down to whether Detroit wins or not tonight, who wins that game next week between Minnesota and the Detroit Lions. So we'll see how that all plays out. But a lot of football this week and all of that. I hope you're pumped up for the football. One last thing before I go, and that is the situation with Pete Alonso with the Mets. The more I hear, the longer this goes, the more I'm concerned Alonso's not coming back. Apparently, the San Francisco Giants are hot for Alonso as well. Apparently, the Mets offered him 3 years, $30 million a year, $90 million for 3 years. He turned it down. He wants like $150, $160 million. I really will be I just got a bad feeling that Alonso's not coming back. I just do. I think he's pricing himself out. We'll see. Maybe the Mets are going to just wait it out and hope that eventually him and Boris come to their senses and get it done and he comes back here. I want him back. I think every Met fan wants him back. There is Anthony Santander still out there. I guess the Mets could pivot to him if they lose Alonso. He had a big year for the Orioles last year. He hit 44 home runs. So, but we'll see. I don't know. I want Alonso back. We all know that. I'm happy that they signed Soto, of course. I'm happy that they re-signed Manaea, of course. But I still want to see Pete come back when all is said and done. We'll see what happens. But right now, you're a Met fan. You got to be concerned that it's not happening with Alonso. I don't know how else to say it. You got to be really, really concerned about that. So we'll see. All right, look. Happy New Year to everybody. Have a happy, safe, and healthy one tomorrow night. No drinking and driving tomorrow night. I know it's a big party night, as everybody's always called it for years now. It's amateur night. All these people that never go out and party, go out and party on New Year's Eve when they don't know what the hell they're doing. So,
the cops are
and
waiting.
the cops are waiting, no doubt about it. So be safe out there. Watch what you're doing, everybody. And, again, enjoy the next couple of days with the holiday season as it starts to come to a close. Enjoy your New Year's. Enjoy all the football. And I'll be back on Friday. With my NFL picks. By the way, I Am I having a miserable week? I need the Lions to win tonight and cover the number of 4, and that'll give me another 2 and 3 week. I have had a losing week all year with my picks, and it's really kind of gone hand in hand with the fate of my football team. All right. God bless America. All the love to everybody, and hang in there, everybody. We're just 3 weeks away from the big boys coming back. Talk to you on Friday. Happy New Year.
Next year?
Everyone. See you next year.
I love it.